I keep in mind that this is them putting their best foot forward. What happened to the old concept of like attractive people? I'm not saying these people are all hideously. Actually, now that I look at it, yeah, I guess they are mostly hideously ugly. The center stage guy, isn't horrible, but everyone else is like the two. Wait, where's what's her face? Angelina Jolie, isn't she supposed to be in here? Everyone else in it is like kind of just a miss. It's like they're okay if they're your next door neighbor, but they're not really Hollywood hot. That concept of attractive people attract people. I'm trying to think back to like hot chicks in movies, and like you really got to have hot chicks in movies. Even the Iron Man, which kind of started this huge comic book thing. What was that, like 15 years ago? Maybe 20 years ago? I don't remember when Iron Man. But it was Gwyneth Paltrow, and she was like in her 30s or 40s. And she was smoking hot at the time. It's like, that helps. It helps to have attractive people in a film. You've got, I don't know what that is. No. She's like in her 50s. No, and no. So, like, no, it doesn't just have to be 20-year-olds with C cups and 110-pound bunnies running around, but it doesn't hurt to have people that you want to look at for 2 hours. Where's I going with this? So quick Eternals review. Basically, what happened was some diversity hires were cutesy cute for 90 minutes or 2 hours or however long it was. I wasn't paying attention. It's hard to really focus. Like to sit down and watch a movie and like really pay attention to it. Movies haven't been that good in the past 2 years. So the POCs ran around on a green screen set. If you remember the making of Star Wars, the 2015, no, the 1999 version of Star Wars, it's like this, everything was just green screen set. It's like, that's the way it looks. Like, you remember, if it were a more recent movie, the first Wonder Woman, where it's just, like, she's running around on the pavement and rolling around the pavement. It's like, it doesn't sell it. Who's the chick who plays Wonder Woman? She's not rolling around. It just doesn't look like this actor is going to be rolling around on wet concrete. It's like you can feel the green screen. And I don't know exactly how to phrase that, but it's like what's her name? I almost said Natalie Portman. That's the other Israeli actor. Who's the chick who plays Wonder Woman? Okay, I don't remember her name. I guess it doesn't matter. Anyway, some movies feel like green screen sets, and I'll leave it at that. So they ran around the green screen set. They said their lines while making very serious facial expressions, but it's like, I don't care. Most of the audience doesn't care. It's like, either sell it or you don't. And with a superhero movie, you really have to sell it, because this willing suspension of disbelief is right up there. You can't go halfway with it, you know what I mean? You can't be self-aware. So everyone was from a different part of the world, so it should have something for everyone. Maybe that's how they're thinking. But really, nobody has enough of a connection to the character base, because it's too diverse, and diversity is cancer. If you're trying to sell it to a Chinese audience, you make it Chinese. If you're doing Bollywood, you make it Indian. If your audience is European, then you should just do a European thing. Same for any part of the world. Like, trying to cover the entire planet with a cast that looks like this, it's just, there's not enough in it for any one group to really connect with. And it's like, the movie is more than just a connection, but it's part of it. It's like why does the movie fail? It fails on multiple levels. So if I remember the original stories from the comic book, I think they were mostly all blonde-haired, blue-eyed Nordic types. And then that was the Eternals, and then men look like men, and then the Deviants look like, well, they look like lizard people, which might be a problem today, if you know what I'm saying. So it's been a while since I read that comic, but these pandering purse puppies look like Hollywood just followed a diversity checklist. But the days of having a bunch of like blue-eyed, blonde-haired heroes is over. The age of man is done, and I better not follow that lineup. So Angelina Jolie and the fat, I will rephrase this to say, male of Chinese descent. I was definitely not going to use a colloquialism for that phrase. They were cool. They felt like they had some personality on screen, and I know nobody agrees with me. They say like Angelina Jolie and Salma Hayek, they thought they were just completely completely wooden characters. But I don't know. I remember Angelina Jolie from funner movies back in the day when she made that Indiana Jones video game ripoff. But everyone else felt lighthearted and frivolous, that G word, but in the pejorative sense. A bunch of super-powered pox who were throwing CGI laser beams out of their buttholes. They had to fight some CGI bad guys, which I guess are guys in green suits in an entirely green set. Actually, I think the bad guys were bundles of sticks, or they were like wolves or werewolves or something. It's like, that's not what the deviants are. They look more like those ice coyotes from Star Wars, the Disney Star Wars, on that sandy planet that definitely wasn't Tatooine because it was sandy. Or no, it wasn't Hoth. Hoth is the ice world. Yeah, look, it's sand. It's not Hoth. We're not just ripping off The Empire Strikes Back. Like, you guys suck so fucking bad. It just, it hurts to watch Disney. I would like to strap people down on a Saturday and make them watch the Disney trilogy. What are they, 2.5 hours each? Like, spend a Saturday, watch all of them, take notes. Like, what was your experience of watching 7 hours of Disney? Oh, it was freaking horrible. Oh my God, it was an abortion. So, why didn't the reviewers like the Eternals? What is not to love? They brownwashed the original characters. What more did they want? What was it supposed to look like? Wakanda? The Eternals look more like the Deviants. If you really don't want to follow the original story, why don't you just create something new? And it must be something with these, like, I know they call them Luciferians and that kind of stuff. Like, they can't create, they can only destroy. I swear to God, some of these tinfoil hat people, every once in a while, it's like I start to look at these tinfoil hat nut jobs and I go, maybe some of the things they're saying, maybe. Anyway, so they didn't make an Eternals movie. They made a Hollywood diverse abortion on a green set, and they named it The Eternals. They call them popcorn flicks. That means it's not going to make a big impression with you. The movie still has to be, logically, internally consistent, and it's got to have some appeal. But, for example, a movie like The Eternals, and then a movie like Big Trouble in Little China, one is a classic and one isn't. Why? Because they didn't set out to click a diversity checklist. They set out to make, like, I can imagine me and friends sitting down and go, okay, we want to make a movie. This is the budget we have. This is the things we have access to. What kind of movie do we want to make? Oh, we want to make something kick-ass. Okay, we're going to need hot chicks and an action guy who's fit, and people who can remember their lines. It's like, that's the beginning of a lot of action-adventure movies. Hot chicks, guys who are fit, and then after that, it's just like, okay, if you can't make a movie work with that, then you need to keep practicing movies. It's like, these people will make the movies. I'm looking at this screen, it's like, this looks like a Disney movie from the 90s that should be rated G or something. Now, diversity is usually a bad thing, and I don't know why people are so afraid to just admit that. Just, no, diversity. It looks like cancer. It destroys the authenticity of the story. And yes, I realize BTILC, Big Trouble in Little China, was a mixed cast. They made the story around the concept of going into Chinatown to battle some Chinese wizard who I think was trafficking women. Now that I think about that movie, what a great film that was. A movie that could not be made today. It wouldn't even be made even for domestic, because it would only have to be released domestically. And it's like, if you're part of a movie company and you don't want to piss off China, because it's not all your audience, but it's like, oh, China accounts for 12% of the money coming, the net coming in. Go, oh, okay, well, it's not huge, but it's not something you want to throw away for nothing. And it might even account for more than that if you have a really big Chinese hit. Because movies like that are illegal in China to show wizards, and I think religion in general. That's why they're having a problem with Falun Gong. Because China is asshole. The thing is, pretty much 99% of post-2020 BLM riots, Biden's America, am I right? We're going to have a good name for, I guess his nickname is Brandon. It's going to be the equivalent of like vegetarian food, but without a cookbook. It's okay, it does a job, but it's going to have you craving a pizza. So let's try a thought experiment. What would happen if you made an Eternals that looked like the Eternals comic book? I'm going to assume that it would do a whole lot better than this United Colors of Bennington advertisement. If you remember your 90s advertisements. And if you remember who was that chick in the 90s ads who did the Guess ads? If you're just full of testosterone, reading those ads as a kid. That she died of a drug overdose or something. It's really horrible, but she had a certain appeal to her. Anyway, I mean, how hard would it have been to make it look like a comic book? Kirby had a vision. Why don't you honor that artistic vision? Here's the thing: if you're Disney, you don't have to make a comic book movie from a known property. Just make something new. You're Disney. You either have the most creative people in the world at your beck and call, or you can pick up a phone and just get a room full of people together. It's like you have all the money to make that happen. You don't have to make a comic book first before you make the movie, if you know what I'm saying. Most of the audience doesn't care, and you're not following the comic anyway. You're just using the name for name recognition. The Eternals, Kirby, it doesn't have that much name recognition. You don't need to do it. Make a new IP. It's like you could sit down on a Saturday with some coffee and biscuits with three guys who are like your creative team at Disney, and it's like, okay, let's make a new creative, an IP that should have been a comic book that wasn't a comic book, but it doesn't matter. We're just going to come up with it on a Saturday. It's not that hard to do. I mean, people are making comic book ideas all the time. Or you could simply go through the thousands of small IPs that are out there and go, hey, okay, we want to option this. You've got an IP. We want to either buy it outright or do whatever. It's like, it's not that hard to come up with a bunch of. My buddy calls him. He's like the most racist POC on earth. It's friggin' hysterical. And I keep telling this guy like he should do his own live stream, but I realize it would be dangerous. It would be dangerous for someone like him. I mean, he would get swatted or otherwise be having to wear like Kevlar vests the whole time. Where's I going with this? Oh, superhero characters. He calls them bundles of sticks in spandex. Yeah, I mean, that's like, what are their powers? One's fast, one's strong, one shoots laser beams. I mean, you can, like, all these powers are recycled because there's only so many things, only so many ways to go with it. It was that Fantastic Four guy. Okay, well, what's Kamala Khan? Oh, it's kind of whatever. It's like, one's a stretchy character, one's a strong character, one's an invisible character, one can create energy shields. It's like, yeah, you can just make something new. It literally would take you a Saturday. Just one. Okay, hey, let's have a barbecue. We're going to sit down and we're going to come up with new characters, and we're going to make $1 billion property out of it. It's not that hard. I mean, you could literally do it on a Saturday. You don't even need pharmaceutical enhancements to come up with that kind of stuff. So essentially what they want to do is make a POC BLT film with like trans kids and BLT marriages and blonde man bad. And even this, they had a POC interracial gay marriage, and they adopted a little catamite child. Yeah, I'm sure they edited that out for the Middle Eastern audience. And they edited a lot of stuff out for the Middle Eastern audience. Or no, they didn't edit out for the Middle Eastern audience. They said, oh, we're going to keep it in here. It's like, okay, well, you're not going to sell in the Middle Eastern audience. It's like, okay, well, that's less than 1% of the net, so we don't give a shit. So they want to lecture the audience on, like, global warming or global cooling and how pollution is bad, but not the China or Indian pollution, just pollution coming from America and the West in general. They want to lecture about how only a little POC girl can teach the English how to do something correctly. Because in clown world, no one can hear you scream, oh, hey, cool, a little POC girl who's like a PhD chemist at age 7, here to show these blonde men a thing or two. And if you think I'm kidding, then you don't read comics or watch movies. In Wonder Woman 1984, the dangerous character was a 40-year-old blonde alcoholic in a suit and tie who just held up a wall in an inner city in America. And if you're not in America listening to this, it's hard to explain how insanely dangerous that is. He would have the lifespan of a mosquito over a pond at sundown. He wouldn't survive very long. An alcoholic. It's called rolling drunks for a reason. I mean, like, the only drunks getting rolled would be like newcomers to a town. Though I have seen a live stream of Cecil drunkenly walking through New York City. I'm like, What are you doing, dude? Anyway, so thank God the economically disadvantaged POC was there to save the day. Yeah, you heard me. The blonde man in the suit and tie was the real physical danger in an American city. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills, but I know that I'm not alone. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe, go to Odysee, Bit Chute, support the channel on Crypto, Coffee, or the other links, or join the Discord. It's a little bit of a free speech site. Please don't Fed post on how to... Well, I won't even joke around about that. Please don't Fed post on Discord. But join the Discord. It's a good way to keep in touch, and I will see you guys all in the next episode.